Imagine this, the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. A ship, the Mary Celeste, is spotted sailing erratically, its sails torn and flapping in the wind. This is December 4th, 1872. The crew of a nearby vessel, the Dei Gratia, decides to investigate. What they discover aboard the Mary Celeste will spark one of the greatest maritime mysteries of all time, a real-life ghost ship story that continues to baffle historians and treasure hunters to this day. When Captain Morehouse of the Dei Gratia and his men boarded the Mary Celeste, they found a scene of eerie stillness. The ship was seaworthy, its cargo of industrial alcohol untouched. Personal belongings were still in the crew's quarters, and a 6-month supply of food and water was neatly stowed. It was as if the crew had vanished into thin air. There were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of piracy. The only lifeboat was missing, a navigation instrument was gone. But why would an experienced captain, his wife, his young daughter, and a seasoned crew abandon a perfectly sound ship in the middle of the ocean? Let's rewind a bit. The Mary Celeste set sail from New York on November 7, 1872, bound for Genoa, Italy. On board was Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and a crew of 7 men. Captain Briggs was a respected, experienced seaman, and the crew was handpicked. The journey should have been routine. The last entry in the ship's log was dated November 25th, 9 days before it was found. It noted the ship's position, but gave no hint of any trouble. So what happened in those 9 days? Why did 10 people disappear, leaving behind a ship that was, for all intents and purposes, perfectly fine? This is where the theories begin, and they range from the plausible to the outright bizarre. One of the earliest and most popular theories was piracy. The area was known for pirates, but this idea was quickly dismissed. The cargo, worth a small fortune, was untouched. Valuables left in the cabins were still there. Pirates would have ransacked the ship, but the Mary Celeste was found in a state of eerie order. So, if not pirates, then what? Another theory points to a mutiny. Perhaps the crew rose up against Captain Briggs. But again, there was no evidence. No signs of violence, no bloodstains, nothing to suggest a fight had taken place. Captain Briggs was known as a fair and competent captain, and his crew was considered reliable. A mutiny seemed completely out of character for everyone involved. Plus, why would a mutinous crew abandon a perfectly good ship and its valuable cargo? It just doesn't add up. Let's dive into some of the more scientific explanations. One compelling theory involves the cargo itself, 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol. The idea is that some of the barrels may have leaked, creating a buildup of flammable vapor in the hold. Fearing an imminent explosion, Captain Briggs might have ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, tethering it to the ship to wait out the danger. A sudden gust of wind or a snapped rope could have separated the lifeboat from the mothership, leaving them stranded and adrift in the vast ocean. This alcohol vapor theory has some interesting points. When the ship was inspected, 9 of the barrels were found empty, while the cargo was untouched in the sense that it wasn't stolen. These empty barrels are a crucial clue. Some experts believe that a non-explosive pressure wave, like a loud whoosh and a burst of vapor, could have blown off the hatch cover, spooking the captain and crew into thinking a catastrophic explosion was about to happen. In their panic, they launched the lifeboat, planning to return once the danger passed, but were tragically separated from their ship. It's a plausible scenario that explains the missing lifeboat and the crew's hasty, yet orderly, departure. But then there are the stranger theories. Could a giant squid or some other unknown sea monster have attacked the ship, snatching the crew from the deck? While it makes for a great movie plot, there's zero physical evidence to support it. No giant tentacle marks, no damage to the ship's hull consistent with such an attack. It's a fun idea, but it remains firmly in the realm of fiction. And of course, we can't talk about a mystery like the Mary Celeste without mentioning aliens. The idea that a UFO swooped down and abducted the entire crew has been a favorite among paranormal enthusiasts for decades. As with the sea monster theory, it's an exciting thought, but it's pure speculation. Without any credible evidence, it's a theory that can't be proven or disproven, destined to remain a fringe idea. Let's get back to the facts and consider the weather. Some have proposed a waterspout or a freak wave could have been the culprit. A sudden, violent storm could have washed everyone overboard. However, the ship's condition doesn't fully support this. While there was some water in the hold and the sails were damaged, the ship wasn't wrecked. Personal items, like a sewing machine with oil still in its can, were undisturbed. A storm violent enough to sweep 10 people off the deck would likely have caused far more chaos and damage below. A more recent and fascinating theory combines a few different elements. It suggests a seismic seaquake, an underwater earthquake. This could have shaken the ship violently, dislodging the cargo and releasing alcohol fumes. The sound and shaking could have terrified the crew, leaving them to believe the ship was breaking apart or about to explode. This would explain their panicked abandonment of a vessel that, to observers, appeared perfectly sound. They got in the lifeboat and fate did the rest. The human element is also critical. Imagine Captain Briggs, a responsible family man, smelling the alcohol fumes. His primary concern would be the safety of his wife and child. He might have overreacted, but his decision to evacuate would have been driven by a desire to protect his family. He wasn't abandoning his ship forever. He was taking what he thought was a temporary safety measure. They likely trailed the ship on a long tow line, waiting for the perceived danger to pass. But the ocean is unpredictable. A snapped line, a sudden squall, and the Mary Celeste would have sailed on without them, becoming the ghost ship we know today. Decades later, the mystery of the Mary Celeste has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even a story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. His fictionalized account, published in 1884, involved a mutiny and murder, and it's what truly cemented the ship's legend in the public imagination. But his story, as it was, added layers of fiction that have often been confused with fact, muddying the waters of the real investigation. So, what are we left with? We have a ship found deserted but intact, a missing crew, captain, wife, and child, a missing lifeboat, and a cargo of volatile alcohol. The most logical and widely accepted theory today is a variation of the alcohol fume scenario. It combines a plausible threat, the fear of an explosion, with a rational, albeit ultimately fatal, decision by the captain to temporarily evacuate. It's a tragic tale of misjudgment and misfortune, not of pirates, monsters, or aliens. The Mary Celeste sailed for another 12 years under different owners, haunted by its reputation before it was intentionally run aground, and wrecked in Haiti in 1885 as part of an insurance fraud scheme. A fittingly dramatic end for a ship that tours in mystery. The fate of Captain Briggs, his family, and his crew remains officially unknown. No bodies were ever recovered. No trace of the lifeboat was ever found. They were simply swallowed by the sea, leaving behind a timeless puzzle. The Mary Celeste is more than just a ghost ship. It's a stark reminder of the power and mystery of the ocean, and a human story of a journey that ended in silence. It proves that sometimes the most terrifying stories are the ones that are true. What do you think happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? Was it a freak accident, a calculated decision gone wrong, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into maritime mystery, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories from the unexplained. See you next time!